almost every president in the last little while.
We're also looking at the upcoming decisions on the NSA and other foreign policy challenges. The Senate looking at sanctions. There's a bipartisan majority, certainly. They've got maybe 59 votes now to reimpose sanctions on Iran. This is something that the State Department and the White House are pushing back hard against. And then in the midst of all of this, you have the bipartisan Intelligence Committee report on Benghazi. Susan, this is again going to fire up both sides of the base.
Yes, because it says that this was an attack that could have been prevented, that there were intelligence reports that should have been recognized to prevent these 4 Americans from dying. On the other hand, it also says not some big conspiracy to lie to the American people about it, that those incorrect reports, those initial explanations came from the intelligence agencies, not from the political appointees who are trying to explain them to the American people.
It was from bad analysis of eyewitnesses, poorly reported from the ground that day. But that, again, this duplicates two previous reports. One came very early on from the Homeland Security Committee, bipartisan Senate committee. This was Susan Collins, Joe Lieberman, and they also, it was Flashing Red Light was the title of it. They also reported that there were plenty of warnings. And also from the Independent Review Board that the State Department commissioned, had to commission, that wasn't their choice. And that report from Mike Mullins and Tom Pickering, the former ambassador, said that there were plenty of warnings. The Brits had pulled out, others had pulled out because of all of the terror incidents that had already taken place. This report does also fault both the Intelligence Committee and the Pentagon for not knowing about the CIA facility, not being able to come to its rescue, and also faults the late ambassador, the beloved ambassador Stevens, for being there and not having adequate security.
It was his decision, actually. And you know, I think all this detail is really useful and may, going forward, save lives in future situations that could be dangerous. Step back from it, though. All these reports confirm what was kind of obvious at the beginning, that there had been a miscalculation as to how dangerous Benghazi was for a variety of reasons, and that inadequate security had been provided.
And Senator Feinstein, chairing the Intelligence Committee, has just spoken about the report. Let's watch.
The finding was that if you had adequate security, it could have been prevented. And if you recognize the intelligence, which pointed out a number of attacks that went on in the 6 months prior, including 2 small ones at the mission itself. There was no demonstration. Conspirators have not been arrested up to this point, so there still is a lot left to do. I can't say that it was all preventable, and I don't want to say that. What I can say is that the security was inadequate and should have been beefed up.
So Dianne Feinstein, and this was bipartisan, Saxby Chambliss, the Republican, on the other side, Susan Page, she's taking ownership of this. It's unlikely that this will persuade the Darrell Ices and the others who've been shouting conspiracy, but it does indicate that there was no big cover-up. The talking points are not as controversial as the fact that they did not have adequate intelligence analysis and security going in.
Well, we do have a series of rather consistent reports looking at this from various angles. On the other hand, all you have to do is go on Twitter to know that Benghazi is not a story that's going away, or that people who believe in the conspiracy theories about it are going to be persuaded by yet another report by government officials.
And, Jean, this is going to continue as long as and until Hillary Clinton declares or doesn't declare.
Exactly, and if she does declare, it'll keep continuing until the election. So it's going to be there. The question is how much traction it has, especially as time goes on. I mean, it's something that people still care deeply about.
Jean Robinson, Susan Page, thank you both so very much. Meanwhile, our coverage continues today on the newly released Shriver Report. A woman's nation pushes back from the brink.